so China has reported a surge in travel and also retail spending over the May Day holiday. State media reporting that cross-regional passenger traffic was up 8% on the year, with catering and retail sales up just over 6%. Let's bring in Minmin Low, our China correspondent here. Yeah, so we're getting a lot of data coming through from official media. What have you seen so far? Anything stand out?
Yes, actually it's quite a complex picture here. CCTV just released the latest official data saying that total domestic trips was up about 6.4% and total expenditure for domestic tourists is up 8.8%. So just eyeballing that, it does look like the per trip spending has increased, and you add to that the catering and retail spending also up 6.3%. But I want to break that down a little bit, because if you peel off the layers and look at where we're seeing the biggest jump, that really is in the sectors of cars, electronics, smartphones, as well as home appliances. And these are all the sectors that benefit from those consumption subsidies, which begs the question of, if those subsidies are not there, what does consumption sentiment look like? And take a look at the box office numbers. That's always a bellwether for consumption, and that's where we are seeing a big slump. The box office numbers actually just half of what it was last year during the May Day holiday, and it's the slowest growth since 2022. You can see the chart there, and 2022 was the year when Shanghai was undergoing that 2-month lockdown during the May Day period. We also have the inbound travel data looking very robust, up about 170% according to Global Times, thanks to those visa-free policies as well as the tax rebates as well. So overall, a very mixed picture, very robust numbers that is supported by supportive government policies.
And this has been a sort of trending topic on Chinese social media, Minmin. What are people saying about it?
Yeah, it is the top three, among the top three trending topic on Chinese social media. And one of the hashtags there was about the travel data looking very robust. So one person was saying that the most important thing here for ordinary people is to increase their income so they can spend more. Someone else saying that, wow, you know, this is really very high numbers. Give us more holidays next time. And I want to dissect this a little bit here, because actually this year, China increased the number of statutory paid holiday by 2 days, 1 day during Lunar New Year and 1 day during May Day. So the number of May Day holidays, it's still 5 days. That's always been the case. But China has a system where you have to pay back for your holidays by working on the weekend. So they used to have to work 2 days on the weekend. This time they only work 1 day. So people used to complain how, you know, before and after the holiday, they're working for so long that during the holiday, they just want to stay at home and rest. But this time we are seeing very robust numbers. Perhaps the extra day off actually helps. And then someone else also saying that, you know, besides the movie data, everything else is good. And then somebody else replying to that saying, well, there are no good domestic movies in China right now. Who's going to go? And this brings to mind what the Chinese ministry has been saying about moderately reducing the number of movie imports from the US in retaliation to the tariffs. And you got to wonder, is the reduced choices for moviegoers, is that also feeding into the data as well?
Could be a lot of things. All right, Minmin, thank you, Minmin Low, there, our China correspondent.
Just watch Bloomberg.
Yes, that's the good kind of replacement of it, right?
Yeah.
You take a look at when it comes to cross-border, right? We talked about the amount of people going into the China mainland for the holidays and whatnot, but when you talk about how Hong Kong's doing, not too bad, right? We just heard from John Lee in this presser talking about, you know, I think it was 1.1 million tourists that visited Hong Kong during that May Day holiday. That's up about a 22% increase from last year. Mainland Chinese visitors increased by about 20% as well. So you're still seeing an influx of people coming in here. But then again, how many Hong Kong people are heading up north?
Yeah, and I think the number that was given was north of 1.1, certainly, right? It was like
just looking at the video,
5, 1 in every 6.
At the border in Shenzhen,
right?
It's nuts.
Yeah.
The cars and people in these train stations as well.
It's, I mean, when you know, taking the train, then you have issues getting a ticket and running out for the trains, even though, you know, the cadence, some frequency in the Gaotie coming through, but then you take the car, then you have to deal with traffic as well. But the other thing I want to point out too is, and I think this is really, since Minmin talked about social media, right? So the overall number that's coming through out of John Lee is 1.1. If you look at some of the reporting that's come through, and I forget where I saw this, right? Some of the packages that they've offered for mainland tourists to come to Hong Kong could be as low as 60 or 70 renminbi. So you got to wonder, is that simply sightseeing? Are they spending? How long are they staying here? And, you know, this is anecdotal.
They're still hanging out in your neighborhood.
They are. They are. My building has become somewhat of a spot. So much so that I tend to avoid going home already to that very note. But, I mean, Anecdotally, right? The coffee shops, the bubble tea stores, I bumped into someone actually I knew, and they literally said, "I'm here to take a picture and go back across the border."
Not even get some bubble tea.
Maybe get a bubble tea.
Maybe
or
one
two.
or two.
Yeah, but they're not going to, fill out that suitcase with luxury goods. It's a very different profile.
You look at Xiaohongshu and what people talk about when they say coming to Hong Kong. It's all about daka. Where can I go and take a photo and post about it? Might not be about spending, but those days of lugging your luggage to a luxury brand or store, those seem to be gone. You're seeing less of those.